Okay, so again, you've already laid this out. I want all your gold tones down the left and your silver tones on the right. So on the top, I'm going to use 50. On the bottom, I'm going to use 70 for my layout line. On this side, I'm going to use 70. And on this side, I'm going to use 50. That just helps me think about where my light is falling off the edge of the piece. When you are doing this, it is important that these lines are parallel and that these lines are parallel. If they are not, then erase your layout lines. You use a ruler, measure it. What I would do if I was measuring this out is I would put two 5mm marks across from each other, marked from the bottom of the page, so that I know when I line up my ruler from here to here and I draw a line across it, it's 5mm. You can turn that off, please. That sounds about right. So similar, keep your pencils off to the side. I'm going to put in my core highlight just right there. I'll put it in really lightly just so that I know where it's going and where I'm heading to. This side here is my darker side. It's away from the light. I'm going to start off with 70, coming from this side towards my core highlight, and doing a transition from here that direction. And then I'm going to do 50 over top of that, starting at the back side, going a little bit further, blending them as I go, sort of joining them together. So my 50 goes a little bit further. And then I'll do 30, always starting at the back. I'm just adding some tone in beside there. You can see I have a little bit of a transition problem here. So I'm going to try to add just a little bit more 50 to get rid of it. Remember, we want tone. This is going to be my core shadow. This is 70 that I'm still using, but I'm going to darken that with my 90. Not too far off the edge. And then I'm going to pull this side down with my 90. So my 90 is very short and very subtle. If this is flat, then the core shadow is flat. It's just like the light source when a light casts a shadow onto another piece. If this were round, then the core shadow would be round. I'm going to take my 70 and blend that up just a bit further. Take my 50 and blend that all together. Now on the other side, I'm going to do basically the same thing, only I'm not going to use the 90 at all. I'm going to do the 70. Bless you. I'm going to do the 70. This is the darkest tone I'm going to put over here. And it's got to transition quite quickly towards that core highlight. And then I'm going to use the 50, starting at the back end, heading towards that core highlight. And then the 30. Make sure your core highlight goes all the way from one end to the other. Now, the dark line. Well, first of all, I can see that this isn't quite square here, so I'm going to add just a little bit of tone right along here. Get this core shadow straight. So what I'm going to do for this line, I don't care what the shape is. It's just a dark, dark line. This edge here and this edge catch just a little bit of highlight as it hits that edge. Okay, so watch, let's say I make a mistake, like I've got these little lines on the outside edge here. Just going in with my 70. I just cleaned that up. Pushed my core shadow off a little further than I want, but at least I don't have a mess. Okay, so your gold tones are done exactly the same way. You're going to use the same combinations in your gold tones. One thing I would do, if I was doing a better job of this, right here, if this line is a significant cut, the ring should indicate that cut right there on that edge, and then it should go, and I should see that little indent right there, because as that cut goes around, I would see it because it continues around the ring. So that's an important helper to know that this is an indent. If I want to fake it, I can build up just a little bit here and give a little low spot where that is, or I can draw it out. On something this small, I generally don't worry about it because clients aren't going to notice the difference. Okay?